Everybody, back with another video, hopefully the last in this little Space Invaders. I had a couple board sets to repair. This one has some sound issues, and it also has some graphics issues, if you can see that right there. And if I hit, let's say, Space Invaders, let's see. You can see it flashing and missing some text or characters. And it's definitely got some weird, graphics glitches or something going on. And you can see it's missing text, like by free play. Oh yeah, it's weird. I'm wondering, I don't know what that is, but also it's got some sound issues. And I figured this time, instead of using the oscilloscope, we're going to use the logic probe to look at some of the sound circuits. So be right back. We're going to look at the sound first. If you can see that, we're going to boot up in test mode with the Braze kit. Saucer's good. No missile shot. Explosion's good. No invader. Bonus is good. Thump is good. And no saucer hit. So we're missing 3 sounds. Missile, invader hit, and saucer hit. So let's look at the schematic here real quick. Alright, we're going to look at the invader hit first. Comes in to E4 over here on the left, 74, 174, pin 10, goes to 74, 17, pin 12, so we're going to look at that, F4, pin 12. That gets pulled somewhat high, I guess, to 5 volts, and then that comes into F4, which is the 3900, and we're going to look at the 3900 with the logic probe a little bit more. But part of feeding the circuit is the op amp at K5, which is kind of fed through this 4016 switch over here. So it kind of is a loop between this 4016 to pin 12, and then that comes out and then in over here to K4 pin 3, and it's got these different voltages and stuff going on. So I don't really know these 3900 circuits. Maybe we'll learn some on this video, but we're first going to look at F4 pin 12 and make sure it's working. And then if that's working, then we'll start probing around the 3900. Alright, so F4 pin 12. This is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And if I press the button to trigger invader hit, I know that noise is annoying, but I like using the audio probe instead. And then from there it goes to K4 right here, K4 and K5. So if we look at K4, we're going to look at mostly, well, let me look at the input. The input is pin 13. So if we look at pin 13 of K4, pin 13, hopefully you can see this okay, yeah. That's pin 13, it's just low. And all the outputs are pin 5, which is right there. Do it this way. This is pin 5. But I don't know if that's actually tied to anything in this circuit, pin 5, so it's just kind of floating. I don't know what it should be doing. Pin 4 doesn't change, it's just low. Pin 10, this is 8, 9, 10, just as high. And again, I don't know what these are supposed to be doing. And then pin 9, nothing, just high. So that doesn't look good, but if I come to the circuit that's tied to the counter, that is K5. And K5, pin 5, that's 765, you can kind of hear it. It's high, but it is toggling, or it's making some noises. That's pin 5, pin 4, is definitely toggling. And pin 10 is making noise. And pin 9 is also making noise. So, you know, it looks like our K5 circuit is working pretty good. Let me pause. All right, so this is our K5, and again, I'm not sure exactly what 3900 is. Some type of Norton amplifier, and then I have the schematics on it, but it doesn't really make sense. But these resistors are obviously key parts of the circuit, and then it's really about, I think, limiting current is much, and then adjusting voltage or something. I don't know what exactly it does. It's not just like amplifying things. It's also limiting current or increasing current or something like that. But regardless, you see the pin 5 here, pin 4. We had activity on all of those, pin 10 and pin 9 over here, and that which feeds this switch, which then switches this, and you get this oscillation. It's almost like a noise, like a noise circuit, because when you hear the invader hit, it goes woo 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 woo, like something like that. But what doesn't look right is this K4, right? I mean, most of the pins weren't doing anything. They weren't toggling at all. So what I'm going to do is piggyback a 3900 on K4 real quick and see what we get. All right, so we're going to piggyback on K4, and I recommend doing this with the game off, but I like to be dangerous, I guess. But if you're careful and line up the pins okay, and you can hear, I didn't even press anything. I didn't press anything, and we hear sounds going. So that just kind of leads me to believe that something is going on with that op amp at K4. I'm going to go ahead and replace that. Okay, so invader hit, we think it's K4. And then if we look at the saucer hit circuit, it's very similar to the invader hit circuit. You have an op amp or the Norton amplifier or whatever, LM3900, that's tied to this 40, there's an error on the schematic, this is a 4016 chip, which is a switch, and so it's kind of, you know, doing some type of oscillation, I guess, is what it's, you know, doing, and that feeds into M4. So the saucer hit is 2 op amps with a timer, with a switch, just like the invader hit, and we're going to go and look at M5 because we know that pin 10, pin 9, 4, and 5 should probably be doing something, just based off of the circuit. It looks very similar to the other circuit. Alright, so M5, we're going to go to pin, if I can do this here, working around this stuff, 1, 2, 3, 4 is just low, and it should be doing something. Pin 5 is just low, should be doing something, and then that's 8, 9. 9's not doing anything, and then 10, and 9 is like completely jacked up. Is 9 even used on the circuit? Yeah, it should be. 8. So yeah, so I think that one's bad. Let's go ahead and piggyback it. If I can do it without screwing anything up. Alright, got it piggybacked. And this is the saucer hit. I'm going to go onto my screen. And we can hear it if you can hear it in the background. Let me turn it up just a little bit. There you go. So piggybacking it fixed it. And now you can see without it piggybacked, no sound as I click the button. So I have 2 3900s that I'm going to change out. And that's going to probably get us back our invader hit and saucer hit. So we just need to identify missile. Okay, so the missile sound uses the noise coming, noise circuit. Whoops, let me undo that. Uses the noise circuit, as you can see here, and same as the explosion sounds. Where's my noise? There it is, right there. So we know that the noise is working because we have explosion. So what we want to do is really check these, the 3900s at M4 and P4. Now, probably M4 is probably working because that's part of the saucer hit sound. It doesn't mean it's working. It could be half working, but it's part of the saucer hit, which is working. And so therefore I would think M4 is probably working, and most likely it's P4, but we're going to look at it. M4, pin 4 and 5, and then P4. And then if it's not that, it's probably, well, it could be this E4. It's probably working. It's got to be those, so let's start there. Alright, so I have my button set up so I can, every time I hit it. So we're looking at M4, pin 4. Okay, and it does change when I press the button, so that's good. So I know that's working right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. It's just delayed a little bit, but it's changing obviously. So we know M4 is working right. So let's come to P4 and let's look at pin 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just high. Pin 5. Nothing's happening. Pin 9. Nothing. Pin 10. Oh, pin 10 moves. That's interesting. Pin 10 moves when I press the button there, and that's an output. Let me look at that real quick. Alright, I don't know. It seems kind of weird. Pin 12 is actually part of the input. Let's see, that's 14, 13, 12. And that doesn't change. And 11, nope. And 10. We get a change. I don't know. That seems kind of strange to me, but let's piggyback and see if it changes our behavior any. Alright. Well, I just piggybacked it. We have our missile sound. Alright, so we have 3 bad 3900s, and that was pretty easy to identify, and we got back our 3 sounds. Just using the logic probe. So I'm going to remove all those and come back.